making him eggs and putting pepper on it. And he's like, that's okay. Christine will show you.
The address on the announcement is wrong. Don't fight, please. Okay, open the door.
I wish it was my wedding night.
Yeah, it's meltdown time. It was literally kind of a coming out party for us. This one event was really where most people were going to meet us as we were.
That was metaphorically speaking. That really was happening. That's how my heart felt.
Bad weather, it's bad weather, and then
her first, because they're waiting for her to do it. Yeah. Bath time.
We're 3 hours away from the wedding. I'm just got tons to do still. Why am I alone? What was wrong with me? Why isn't someone over here?
We only got the hair done, and you know, it was my wedding night.
Okay, all my kids get closer together on this side.
The cake fit in so well because everything was gorgeous, right?
I give her a cake first with my feet.
So Cody's sitting there feeding to her, and he starts shoving the cake into her mouth. And she's like this, she's like,
I was being nice.
Did you know that one of the most unforgettable cracks in the Sister Wives family didn't come during a fight, but during a wedding planning session? A moment that was supposed to bring everyone together instead exposed feelings of division, insecurity, and a shift in tradition that fans have never forgotten. From the outside, it looked like pure excitement. Another wedding, another chapter, another chance to prove that plural marriage was built on love, loyalty, and equality. But for those who watched closely, the signs were all there. This wasn't going to be like the other weddings. Something was different. Something was breaking. The family had always leaned on tradition. Ceremonies, rings, the way things were done. Those little details weren't just symbolic, they were survival. They gave every wife a sense of belonging, a reminder that they were all equal partners in a very complicated marriage. But as Robin began planning her wedding, those traditions didn't carry the same weight. Her vision was different. Her choices stood out, and slowly, painfully, it became clear. This wasn't just Robin's day. It was the beginning of a new era. One where the other wives would feel less like equals and more like spectators. Meri, Janelle, Christine, they tried to smile, to be supportive, but you could feel it in the silence, in the glances, in the way they carried themselves. Fans who watched that episode know the truth. They weren't just planning a wedding. They were planning a shift in the entire family dynamic. And here's where the heartbreak sets in. Because weddings are supposed to be unifying. They're supposed to represent a joining of hearts, not a tearing apart of traditions. But in this moment, as details unfolded, you could sense the weight pressing down on everyone. What happened next revealed just how fragile the balance really was. The turning point came when Robin began choosing details that didn't line up with what the other wives had known for years. Dresses, decorations, even the tone of the ceremony. Every decision felt like a departure from the unspoken rules that had held this family together. It wasn't that Robin was wrong for wanting her own dream wedding. Every bride deserves that moment. But for Meri, Janelle, and Christine, it was something much deeper. Every new detail made them feel like the traditions they had sacrificed for, the ones that had given their marriage meaning, were being quietly erased. And it hurt. Fans who remember this episode can still picture Meri's face, trying to be supportive, but betraying the weight of her emotions. Janelle, often steady and practical, seemed distant, almost like she was retreating into herself. And Christine, who had just gone through the joy of welcoming a baby, now faced the uneasy reminder that her happiness didn't erase the shifting ground beneath her family. For the audience, it was bittersweet. You wanted to cheer for Robin, the excitement, the joy, the romance. But in the same breath, you couldn't ignore the silence from the other wives, the smiles that didn't quite reach their eyes, The way they seemed to be watching a future they weren't sure they belonged in anymore. This is where the show hit fans hardest, because it wasn't just about dresses and receptions. It was about belonging, equality, and the creeping feeling that one wife's happiness might be rewriting the family story forever. And yet, even in the middle of this tension, there was hope. The hope that maybe, just maybe, love would be enough to hold them together. That even as traditions shifted, the bonds of sisterhood could survive. But deep down, you could feel it. Something had already changed. The wedding ring was supposed to be the symbol that tied it all together. In plural marriage, the ring wasn't just jewelry. It represented unity, equality, a promise that no matter how many wives joined the family, no one would be less important than the other. But when Robin's wedding ring was revealed, it didn't match. It wasn't part of the same simple band tradition that the other wives shared. Hers was unique, distinct, different. And that difference echoed louder than any vows spoken that day. Fans who watched in real time remember the sharp sting of that moment. It was as if a quiet truth had finally spoken out loud. This wasn't just another wedding. This was the start of a new hierarchy, a wife who would have a different bond, a different symbol, and perhaps a different place in Cody's heart. You could see it in Christine's eyes. That flicker of realization that love wasn't going to feel the same anymore. Janelle, often calm, looked away, as if trying not to process what it really meant. And Mary's silence said more than words ever could. For viewers, it felt like betrayal cloaked in romance. A symbol that was supposed to unite them all had, instead, set Robin apart. And once you saw it, you couldn't unsee it. That's why fans still talk about this episode years later, because it wasn't just about a ring. It was about what it represented, the slow unraveling of equality, the quiet rewriting of family, and the painful reminder that sometimes traditions are broken not by accident, but by design. And that's what made it unforgettable. Even now, rewatching those scenes, it's impossible not to feel the tension. The smiles, the laughter, the celebrations. All of it shadowed by one unspoken truth. The Browns would never be the same after that moment. Looking back, that wedding planning moment wasn't just about flowers, dresses, or rings. It was about identity, about a family that had promised to walk side by side, suddenly finding themselves walking on different paths. For some fans, it was the moment the dream of equality began to fade. For others, it was the moment they realized this story was never going to have a fairy tale ending. And maybe that's why this scene still lingers with us, because we've all been there in some way, watching something we believed in start to change before our eyes, powerless to stop it. That's the heart of Sister Wives. It wasn't just about plural marriage. It was about belonging, heartbreak, and the fragile balance of family. If this moment struck you as deeply as it did so many fans, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you remember most from this wedding planning scene? Drop it in the comments, because your perspective helps keep these memories alive. And if you want more emotional deep dives into the moments that shaped this family forever, don't forget to subscribe to Drama Unfiltered. Here, we keep their story alive, not just as a show, but as the memories we can't let go.